Hello, and welcome to the Screencastify session. We're glad that all of you are with us this afternoon. We know that these are unprecedented times just across the country in general, and that remote teaching can definitely be a stressful thing, especially under these circumstances. So we are definitely here to help you out. To introduce myself, I am Christopher Assing. I am your host today. I work for the technology training team, otherwise known as T3. We provide instructional technology to teachers, as well as the rest of the district staff. So hopefully have met or heard of our team, if not some of us as individuals by this time. I am joined by Michelle Conti, who is also on our team. And Renee Henderson usually would join us. She's also a member of the T3 team, but she's instructing another session at this time. And then I'm also joined by Tamala Stuckey from our Title I office. We will be functioning as your instructors today. So I am going to pass it over to Michelle and allow her to get you started with Screencastify. So that everyone is aware, we are going to begin the session by reviewing the features, options, and abilities in Screencastify. We know that everyone may not have been able to do the pre-work that was emailed, and that's quite all right. We will revisit installing the extension, the application, so that you do have it. All of that, I promise, will be taken care of. All of your questions, as best as we can, will be answered. We ask that you allow us to get through the session and wait for a moment where we are taking questions to be able to give you those answers, because we may already answer your question as part of the presentation. And Michelle, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. So welcome to Screencastify, and in this session, we're going to talk to you about how to use Screencastify instructionally during these virtual learning days. So you may be wondering, what is Screencastify? Well, Screencastify is a Google extension which allows you to record your screen. It is ideal for putting together tutorials, instructional videos for your students, narrating over slides, dubbing a video, helping kids with fluency, as well as giving feedback to students. The cool thing about Screencastify is you can personalize learning for your students by creating videos which help you differentiate your instruction for them, as well as helping them to think more visibly, or creating professional development materials, communication materials for your parents, as well as recording your lessons for your kids. All right. So when you download Screencastify, it is an extension. You can download it from screencastify.com or from the the Chrome Play Store. So we can get it from screencastify.com. Because I already have Screencastify, you're going to see it's already installed on my computer. Or you can go to your apps, go to the Chrome Web Store, and download or install Screencastify from the web store. We're going to talk more in detail about installing Screencastify a little bit later. We want to take you through a few demonstrations on how you can use Screencastify with your students. And then we're going to take you through the installation process. When you install Screencastify to your Chrome browser, you're going to see it's going to live up here with all the other extensions you may have downloaded over time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Screencastify icon and just walk you through the interface. When you click on the icon, you're going to see we can record our browser, our desktop, or we can record with just our webcam. When you're recording with your browser, you can also have your webcam present. Additionally, when you're recording your desktop, you can have your webcam present. It's not a requirement to record with your webcam. It's just an option if you want to do that. Anytime you're doing the recording, make sure you enable your microphone. If you're using a MacBook and you click this down arrow, you're going to see the default microphone is the internal built-in microphone. I don't recall what the options are for PC, but you'll have some options that are default that you can use. And every time you speak, you'll know your microphone is picking up your voice because it lights up green. If you want to enable your webcam, you can click on that button and then make sure you also enable your camera. So for those who are using MacBooks, it's the FaceTime internal camera. Okay, I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to use it today with you all. When we click on show more options, we'll see that we have a countdown, and we can enable the countdown to record after 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds. This just gives you time to get yourself ready before the recording actually begins. A cool feature that I absolutely love about Screencastify is the drawing tools. So when you're doing your recordings, you can annotate while recording whatever it is that you're doing. Because right now I have browser tab selected, I can record, any audio that's playing within this particular tab. When I click on desktop, we lose that option, okay? And again, with the webcam, this is great if I just want to record a message to my students. They don't need to see my desktop or my browser. They don't need to see anything but me. Then we can just use the webcam on our computer to make that recording. I'm going to click on desktop, and I'm going to take us through a variety of scenarios of how you can use Screencastify instructionally. So the first scenario is from using Screencastify as a narration tool to narrate over a presentation. I'm going to do the recording, and then I'm going to upload my recording to Google Classroom, just so you can see how these applications all marry well together. Before I do that, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Screencastify again. Everything is ready. I'm going to click record and get started. I am going to click record my entire screen and share. Here's the countdown. Hi guys, and welcome back. So excited to be back in school, even though we're learning virtually versus how we traditionally do things. I am here to give you an update on third quarter grading. Third quarter officially ended on Monday, March 30th. Here's some things I need you to do right now. Between now and Friday, April 3rd, please submit any work you completed electronically in our Google Classroom, okay? Any work that was identified as enrichment will not be graded, all right, guys? If for whatever reason you were not able to access our Google Classroom over this 2-week time, or you were having some computer issues, technical problems, don't worry about it. You will be exempt from these assignments, so you won't get a 0 or an E in the grade book, okay? So things I need you to know for third quarter, fourth quarter, and final grades. Third quarter grades will be published between Monday, April the 6th to Wednesday, April the 8th. So it is imperative you get your work turned into me by Friday, okay? Fourth quarter will officially begin on Tuesday, April the 14th. Now, because we are working virtually, our grading system is going to be a little bit different. You will be earning a pass or incomplete grade for the fourth quarter. All right. Final grades will be calculated using only grades from first through third quarters. So your final grades for your classes will be a letter grade based on first through third quarters. Fourth quarter grades, again, will either be a pass or incomplete, and there will be a note on all transcripts stating that fourth quarter grades were earned remotely. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Remember, we got this. Don't be anxious. We're going to get through this together. If you have any questions or if your parents have questions, you guys can reach me at michelle.conti@pgcps.org. Stay safe, wash your hands, stay indoors. I look forward to seeing you guys again once all of this is over. All right, so that's my message I recorded for my kids. Now, Screencastify, as soon as you click the stop button, it automatically plays back your recording so you can preview it. In order to hear everything, we have to click to unmute. I'm excited to be back in school, even though we were learning virtually. All right, I'm going to put her back on mute. If I wanted to do some trimming of my video, maybe I had a phone call coming at the end of the call, or maybe I didn't start right on time, I can click on these scissors and trim my video and cut out anything I don't want in that video. You guys can put my cursor back in and preview to see if that's where I really want the video to end. When you are done trimming your video, always save the trim, and what happens is Screencastify will then create a copy of what you've just trimmed and save it in your Screencastify folder on your Google Drive. So because this is a Google extension, when you add the extension to your Chrome browser, it automatically creates a Screencastify folder in your Google Drive, okay? We are using the free version. Well, mine is unlimited right now, but we're going to talk about that momentarily. But when you go in and download, you're downloading the free version. The free version is great. We are given up to 5 minutes of recording time. With the unlimited or premium, it's unlimited time. But keep in mind, we're creating videos for students. We don't want them to be bored to tears. So 5 minutes or less, let's try to stay within those parameters. Get in there, record your video, stick to the script, and get out of there, okay? All right, I'm going to cancel this trim. You see, right now it says untitled and then today's date. You can give your video a title. I'm going to call this third quarter. Hi guys, and welcome back. So excited to be back in. I'm going to call this third quarter announcement. Okay. And I want to add this to my Google Classroom because I want all of my students in all of the classes that I have to see this message. So I'm going to click Share to Classroom. You see, I can also add this to YouTube, or I can get a link and I can share my link to whomever I want to. But for this example, I want to share this to my Google Classroom. I'm going to click the initial class that I want to use for the example. And now I can use this as an assignment, a question, an announcement, or as material. Okay. I'm going to make this an announcement because that's what it is. And I'm going to click go, and it's going to take me to Google Classroom so I can continue with the rest of this announcement. And actually, I don't want them to read, I want them to watch. All right. If I have further instructions, I can add it here. Because it's Classroom, I can share this with the one class I chose, or If I have 4 classes or more, I can make sure it's being posted in every single Google Classroom that I have. Okay, so I can share it with multiple classes at one time. If I wanted to send this to all of my kids, I could. If I wanted to send it to one student, I can click on the one student I want to receive this video. Okay. I think I'm happy with what I have here. As with Google Classroom, I can schedule this post to go out at a later date. I can just save it as a draft and come back and add more to it, or I can just say whatever I want it and discard it. I'm going to go ahead and click post. I can view it in my classroom. Now my announcement has been posted in my class for all of my students in this class to see. If I shared it with multiple classes, it would be posted in every single Google Classroom I shared it with in. Okay, so that's one way that we can use Screencastify in addition to using Google Classroom to post announcements for your students. Okay, I am going to go ahead and trash this because I don't want it. Just showing you guys for demonstration purposes. I'm going to click delete. I'm going to go back to our presentation and I want to do an explanation. So maybe you want to explain to your students how to perform a skill and you want to model for them how to do or solve or go through specific steps. I'm going to pull it up. So here's the next demonstration. Make sure my annotation is on because I'm going to need it this time. Just so you know, I know my screencast is recording because now next to the to the Screencastify icon, I have a little red button indicating that it is recording what I'm doing. Okay. All right, guys. So we've been working on how to write an introduction for our essays, specifically how to write our thesis statements. So I just want to review some things with you guys to make sure everyone fully understands how this process works. So I'm going to come over to my annotation tool and grab my pen. Okay, and let's just review some things. Remember, we said the hook. Anytime we are doing an introduction, we want to start with the hook. We want to grab our reader. So a hook can be a definition, a question, a statement, anything to grab the reader's attention to get them completely excited about what it is they are reading, right? Also, we want to make sure we give background in our introduction. Let me pull down so we can see everything. So anything that you see in blue is going to be background information in our introductory paragraph. After that, we want to lead into our thesis statement. Remember, the thesis helps us lay out how our essay is going to go. And it also becomes what will be our topic sentences within our body paragraphs. All right. So it explains the order in which the essay will flow. And our thesis points are going to be in orange. Okay. All right, great. So I want to make sure you guys understand that everything in green is my hook, right? According to regenerativemedicine.net, tissue engineering is combining cells, engineering materials and biochemical factors to improve or replace biological functions to repair damaged tissues, blah, blah, blah. And remember, what's in blue is our background information. So now I'm about to say, since the 1970s and 80s, tissue engineers have worked to grow replacement organs for patients. And now I am leading into my thesis with the information directly from our text. And we're going into our thesis, which you see highlighted here in the gold and the purple. Okay. And then our orange is our actual thesis statement. And all together, I now have my introductory paragraph. I'm going to go back to my annotation tool to turn off the focus mouse. And I want you guys to use this example. Use this example to help you write your introductory paragraph. If you have any questions, send me an email. So Screencastify is a great tool to model for your students how to specifically do a skill, okay? The annotation tools are great because you can use the pen, you can use the focus mouse to bring their attention to specific details on your screen. Again, if this is something I want to share with my students, I'm going to go to my classroom. Maybe this is an assignment for them. Here's my class. And I can give them the instructions, watch the video, and finish your, I don't know, thesis statement. Okay? Because it's an assignment, make sure you give your points. Again, you can send this to all of your classes at one time, not just one. Or if you made this video for just a specific student, then you can choose who to send the video to. With Classroom, you can give it a due date, as well as create a topic, and then assign it. So your students will have your tutorial video and whatever is the assignment that they have to complete. If you want to double check it, you can click on view just to make sure everything loaded exactly the way that you wanted it to load within your classroom. And it did for me, so I'm happy with that. I'm going back. So I shared with you how to do an announcement, how to do an explanation. Any questions so far? I know that's a lot, but any questions? Let's look at the chat.
Right. So just to recap a couple questions that I've answered, Screencastify is not compatible with Android and iOS devices, according to Screencastify's website. You would need to use it on a Windows or a laptop computer style device. It is not going to be compatible with your phone or tablet. Excuse me. Just so everyone aware, and that's not an us thing. That is a Screencastify thing. They have not yet made their application accessible by tablet or other mobile devices. It is compatible with Mac laptops or other desktop devices, just not mobile devices. Students will be able to view the videos on their devices. That's another good question that comes through. We want you to think of Screencastify as an application that just simply allows you to record video. You will be able to download the video into multiple formats that you can then in turn upload to YouTube, for example, to your private YouTube channel if you have one for your classroom, or as Michelle showed in such a great manner, how to send them the video through Google Classroom, and then they can access it from anywhere. but in terms of creating the video, it cannot be created from a mobile device. I see a question about narratives. Yes, you do have the ability to delete your recording. I believe Michelle showed, and will show you more later today about how to trim your video if you need to and you don't like it, or how to re-record if possible. I do see several questions coming through about the 5-minute time limit. We will be discussing that later during the session. But just as a note, that I know Michelle pointed out in the last session, not sure if it was in this one because I was answering the chat. However, you do want to keep in mind limiting the time to your videos. Instructional best practices tell us that we should not make videos extraordinarily long, if possible, because students, research tells us, are going to stop watching after about 4 minutes. However, we will discuss extended recording time toward the end of the session. Just one last question I'll take in this one, and then when we get to another question segment, I'll try to answer some more. A lot of you are looking in Google Drive for the icon and looking for it as well. If you have not already installed the Screencastify extension, you will not see that icon. We will be discussing how to install the extension and access it a little bit later in the session. Please keep placing your questions in chat. We are working furiously to answer them as well. I just wanted to highlight a few that were repeated questions. And thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. I just, in the chat, I saw a question about, does it limit how many videos we can make? We are allowed to make 50 videos per month with the free version. So they're pretty generous with that. Okay. Thank you, Chris, for answering those questions. I also want to talk about Screencastify just from the student perspective. If you decide to use this tool with your students, Screencastify does have an age requirement. It asks or prefers that students are 13 and over. And since this is the high school group, we're good to go with that. So some of the things that we just want to look at and how to use Screencastify with our kids. I know this is high school, but they're not too old to retell the story in their own words, or they're not too old to translate a story into another language, especially for our students who are taking foreign language classes, or even for our English language learners. They can make up a new story of what is happening in a video. Maybe you may post a different video and they can come up with an alternate ending. They could create commentary as well as describe what they see happening, maybe on screen or in an activity you may have provided them. So it can go both ways. This is a great way to get your kids definitely engaged in the lessons that you're going to present to them. Another way students can use or consider using Screencastify maybe with fluency. For our students who may have some challenges with their reading, this is a great way to help them. Maybe you can, model how to read text fluently. You can also help them with flashcard practice and have them create a video of them practicing using flashcards or using sight words or speaking a different language, practicing their language skills, whether they are taking a foreign language class or if they're English language learners. So we have a quick demo for flashcard practice using Quizlet. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and click on Screencastify. Every time I want to record a new video, I need to make sure I click on the Screencastify icon. I always double check all of my settings. And for this video, I am going to enable the webcam just so you all can see it in use. And I'm going to click record. Again, I want to record my entire screen and click share. All right, guys, so I want to show you how you can use Quizlet to practice your Spanish lessons while we are at home learning virtually. So we have some Spanish flashcards to practice with in today's lesson. All right, cierren los libros. Close your books. ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say? You say. Se dice. How do you spell? ¿Cómo se escribe? If at any moment I don't want to use my webcam anymore, I can come over to my annotation tools and I can click on the camera icon and turn it off. It is spelled se escribe. All right, that's today's lesson. Now I want you to practice on your own and upload your video, your screencast in our Google Classroom when you're done. To stop recording, we can click on our icon again, our Screencastify icon, and click the stop button. If at any moment you just want to pause your recording and pull up something else, you can do that and come back and click the play button and it'll begin recording as if you never stopped. So that's a pretty cool feature. So I'm going to stop here and just talk about, again, make sure you give your video a title by clicking where you see untitled and the date and the time that you recorded your video. Because I am using an unlimited version, there is an extra editor. When we click on that, the open an editor button will allow us to do more editing. So we can also not only trim or cut, we can also crop out and we can add text to the screen. If I can type, but you guys get the gist. Okay. I am going to, because I don't want this, go back to where we were. Exit out of that. Any video you no longer want, you can trash it by just clicking delete. If you have a YouTube channel, your own teacher YouTube channel, then you can click publish to YouTube and follow the directions on the screen. You can make your video private, public, or unlisted. Give a description of your video and upload it to your YouTube channel. Okay. Again, you can get the embed code. If you have a site and you just want to embed that video, you can do that as well. So you can copy the code and embed it. You can download the video link to share maybe in an email. Maybe you want to email a quick tutorial to a parent who had a question on how to solve an equation or had a question about an assignment and you just want to give them a brief description of what to do. Okay. All right. Just looking at the other options. See anything else? I'm going to go back to our presentation. And one last thing, another way we could use it is you can give feedback to your students. Maybe your kids have been working on an activity and instead of typing out feedback, maybe it's easier to verbally give that feedback to the student, especially if the student may have comprehension issues, okay, or literacy issues. So I'm going to click on this activity and I'm going to start my feedback. And this time I'm just going to record my browser. Hi Lawrence, it's Miss Conti, and I just wanted to talk to you about the respiratory system presentation you turned in. I have to say you did a great job using Google Slides to do this presentation. I'm very impressed. Your images are very clear. You give clear descriptions of the respiratory system, so I love what you've done here. Great job. I was wondering, when you were going through and learning about the main organs in the respiratory system, did you have any further questions? Specifically, did you have any wonderings about any of these wonderful organs? Anything over here? So let me know and we can talk further about this when you give me your feedback to this presentation. I like that you included a video about the respiratory system. I watched it. It was very informative, and it also cleared up any some questions I may have had about the respiratory system. So great use of the YouTube video here to further explain the main functions of the respiratory system. Awesome. So from this point, it looks like you have gathered enough information now in order to move to the next phase of our project, and that's the essay portion. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do the activity. You did a great job. Look at my comments, and if you have further questions, let me know. So now what I can do with this video, instead of creating it and sharing it with the entire class, I can share this video with just that student. So I'm going to go to my classroom. I need to give things time to load. I'm going a little fast. And I am going to create an assignment because there's a part 2 to this. And this time, I just want to send it to the one student. All right, so now my kid has clear instructions on what I want them to do next. If I had additional documents to attach, I would. I'm not going to give it a topic for this. I'm just going to click assign, and it's going to go to that one student versus to all of my students. So you see how you can differentiate, you can give that feedback, and the one kid is going to get, or whoever, however many kids you send it to, they're going to get that information. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and trash this. Now you see, because I'm deleting it, it's going to be removed from that student's account. All right, and you see these are all my videos in my drive, in my Screencastify folder that lives on my Google Drive. All right, I'm going to go back here. And we're going to pause again for questions, and then we're going to talk about the installation process.
Just to recap a few questions that have been repeated that we're asking. I know one, there was some confusion about the material that Michelle is using when she's using Screencastify. Keep in mind that Screencastify is simply a tool that allows you to record whatever is appearing on your computer at the given time. All it is a recording tool. So whatever you bring up on your computer, be it a virtual whiteboard, Google Slides, PowerPoint, Microsoft, even your just plain desktop, if you want to record that, you're able to do that through Screencastify. It is simply just the recording tool. A lot of questions are coming through about student use. One of the things we want to say is, first, please get, if you were going to have your students create videos in Screencastify that they're going to turn in, please be sure to get express permission, and I suggest in writing, from their parents before you do so. Excuse me, just because we don't want to run into any issues about students uploading or recording anything that is inappropriate from their home computers or devices. Some other questions about student use. Again, remember that Screencastify is simply the recording tool. It will allow you to download the video into various formats, and from there, you'll have the option to upload it to your private YouTube channel, to Google Classroom. You can send it via email, or pretty much any video tool that you're using, you're going to be able to upload this. Again, Screencastify is just the tool that's allowing you to record the information on your screens. Students would need to sign up on their own. Screencastify's policy is that students must be 13 years or older in order to access Screencastify. So, and again, we strongly recommend that you receive express parent permission prior to having the students use Screencastify to submit videos, because we don't want any issues regarding students uploading or recording personal information. Students are going to be, if students or yourselves, you're going to be able to use this. It is a web-based application that you, Michelle is going to talk about in a second, about how to install it into your Chrome browser. However, it is a Chrome extension and therefore should be used within the Google Chrome environment.
All right, so let's talk about installing Screencastify Extension. And these instructions are coming to you when Chris sends out the email following our webinar. Okay, you may not get it today, bear with us, but it's coming. You can install the extension directly from the screencastify.com site or from the Chrome Web Store. When you go to screencastify.com, you're going to see a blue button that says Add to Chrome if you don't already have Screencastify installed on your computer. Huge tip, make sure your Chrome browser is up to date, or you're not going to be able to install the extension. Very important. Additionally, when you're going through the installation process, Screencastify is going to ask permission to access your data on your Google.com or your tabs when you're browsing. Allow it so that you'll be able to get the full functionality of the application. It's going to ask to access your microphone and your webcam, so allow it. When you do download Screencastify, you're going to see the Screencastify logo appear on your Chrome browser. What is this? Landing, for lack of a better word. And it's going to be an arrow with a little camera attached to it. Okay. All right, move that stuff out the way. So I brought up installing just so you all can kind of see what it would look like. So you're going to see when you go to screencastify.com, you're going to see the option to add it, to install it. And when you do, you're going to see add extension. Okay. From here, you're going to be prompted. Oh, back up. If you're adding the extension from the Chrome store, you're going to see add to Chrome. And when you do, you're going to see again the message add the extension. Okay. And then you're going to see Screencastify has been added to Chrome. And from there, it's going to ask the questions about accessing your webcam and your microphone. So you see that little icon, and it is that tiny. When you click on Screencastify for the first time, it's going to prompt you to log into Chrome. And when you do, you're just going to follow all of the prompts that you see. And you're going to go through all of these screens. Allow everything. Okay. After you allow everything and you go back and you click on the icon, then you're going to see the interface. It's a very small interface with the browser tab, the desktop, and the webcam. All right. Which brings us back here. I already mentioned recording your tab, your webcam, or your entire desktop. So just some quick tips. Record a script. That way it'll cut down on you rambling or saying off. Introduce your topic at the beginning or opening of your recording. Always record in a quiet space. Practice before you record. Remember, we are allotted 50 videos per month. So if you make a mistake, no worries, trash it and try again. Close unnecessary tabs. Don't be like Michelle and have 11 tabs open at one time. I'm guilty. So just, only have open what you need. Keep your recording short. Your students have the attention span of a gnat most times. So 5 minutes might be pushing it. 5 minutes or shorter. If you need more time, then do another video, but keep it as short as possible. Stick to the point. Whatever it is you're trying to get them to do, say it and get out of there. Speak slowly and do not worry about making a mistake. We're human. You know what? You may slip over a word. It's okay. Keep it moving. Use the annotation tools to direct your students' eyes to where you want them to go. Also recap and with a summary of what it was you were trying to get them to do. And then lastly, but very important, for those of you who have your cameras covered, remove whatever you have covering your camera so that your webcam will shine through so we can see your beautiful faces if you choose to use the webcam. Just to bring your attention to the drawing tools, I love that these are available for free. You can annotate on top of your screen. You can draw your students' attention to things that you really want them to focus on. You can circle, you can jive, highlight. It's something better than nothing, okay? You can trim your video. So if when you begin speaking, your phone rings, you can just like, you know what, I'm going to trim it, no worries, and keep it moving. And it's very easy. Once you're done, always save your trim and share your video. Share to Google Classroom, share it on your YouTube channel, or share the link with a colleague or with your students or with their parents. We have some resources for you because we understand you guys are not going to master this in a 1-hour webinar. So these links have some amazing resources to help you through. Try the Master the Screencast class. It's free and you can get yourself a certificate and learn some really cool ways to continue to use this tool. And ching, 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 Screencastify is blessing PGCPS with the premium version of their application. Only until April 30th, but guess what? You guys have 29 days to use the unlimited version of Screencastify for free. I'll say, hey, I'll take it. All you have to do is watch like a 40-second video, and then there's a page you need to visit, and all of this will be in the email that Chris is going to send out. And enter the code CAST_COVID and click activate license, and you will have the premium version of Screencastify. Even if you have it installed already on your computer, guess what? When you go through these steps, you will be given the free version. The premium version with all of the features. So it doesn't matter if you already have it installed, you can still take advantage of this amazing deal. And we only have it until April 30th. So, have at it. The instructions are coming in the email, so don't fret that you can't click, within this webinar. They're coming your way. And if you have further questions, please, please, please email your T3 trainer or email t3@pgcps.org, or you can hit Chris and I up or Renee, and we'll answer your questions. So that's the basis of this webinar. We are going to hang around for further questions. We also have office hours coming up. So yeah, so let's open up the floor for questions.
Thanks again, Michelle. Just a couple of questions that I've been getting. A few. Parent permission that was sent out at the beginning of the year does not particularly cover using this particular application. So please attain separate permission from parents if you are going to have your students recording and submitting videos in Screencastify. Just to clarify, you as an adult, an employee of the school system, you have the ability to use Screencastify to create your videos, and then you can download and distribute any appropriate videos, any student appropriate videos. Once you're done, you don't need special permission for that. Recordings are held in your Google Drive, so they will remain there. And you can always make a copy of them if you're worried about any of them getting lost once your free trial ends. Let's see, just a couple of their questions. Oh, okay. So that's another question saying the same thing. Videos are housed in your Google Drive. They should remain there. If you are worried about them not, please feel free to make a copy the same way you would any other document in your Google Drive once it arrives there. If you're anything like me, sometimes I just keep 2 copies just in case, because we know Murphy's Law can go into full effect. I see some questions about the resources screen and so forth. If you have registered for this session in my PPS, you will be emailed a copy of both this presentation as well as a self-paced presentation that will contain some additional videos and assistance to help you learn at the pace that is more appropriate to you. So you will be getting that. To answer the question about whether or not the free trial when the free premium trial ends, yes, when that trial does end, it will default back to your free account. The district, to my knowledge, at this time will not be paying for premium accounts past the April 30th mark. If that changes, we'll certainly get information out to you, but you can't expect it to revert back to your free account. I believe the current approximate cost is about $29 for the premium account, but you can feel free to visit screencastify.com to get specific information from them. There was a question about whether or not this could be purchased for an entire staff in a building. You will need to contact your building administrator, namely your principal, if you're in a school, to have that information given to you about making large purchases such as that. All right, I'm going to wait around for just about another minute before we end the session. Excuse me, just to take any last minute questions. Otherwise, you are free to go. If you have registered in my PPS, please keep an eye out for an email that will come from a my PPS email address that will contain the presentation and any other resources. If you do need further assistance following the session, please follow the directions in the email to locate and contact your T3 trainer. Please stay safe. Please stay at home, your family safe, and enjoy the rest of your day.